Hello everybody, welcome back. So today I will be telling you the story of how I found out I am physically disabled. So it all started when I was born. I would cry incessantly. Nothing my parents would ever do would help, changing the diapers, feeding me, etc., etc. There were various reasons for the crying, but one of the huge things was that my body was in pain. And only when I started being able to talk around, 2, 3 years old, I would tell my mom, knee pain, knee pain. From there began the Indian ritual of constantly massaging me. For those of you who don't know, Indians just love massaging their babies. Apparently it helps with muscle development and helps them walk faster, which is, I guess, true because me and my sister never crawled. We just went straight to standing up and then walking, so that's pretty wild. So yeah, apparently I was born really long, not like the length of a normal baby, and they figured, oh, her limbs are really long, it's probably just growth pains, and now she can talk and tell us where it hurts, so we'll just massage her and she should be fine. I was not fine. The growth pains never stopped, all the way up till I was maybe 16. They kept going and they were very intense in my childhood. We even went to like an orthopedist to do like full body x-rays and scans to see what was wrong with me when I was maybe 8. They could not find anything. So yeah, once again classified as growth pains. So something about me that everybody also noticed was that I was crazy naturally flexible. Ta-da! I could do crazy contortions, I could do the splits, I could just do insane things, and so naturally my parents put me into ballet, gymnastics, you name it, I was in it. I was also in some deep shit. So yeah, I just had those growth pains and did those sports, and that was basically the combination that my body went through for a long period of time. Fast forward to when I was about 13, the only thing I was doing was ballet, and then I entered secondary school. In secondary school, we had to join an extracurricular. Over here in Singapore, they call it co-curricular, which means it's compulsory to join one. It's not extra, it's co. And yes, you are graded on it. Ridiculous. But anyway, so naturally, I joined dance. It was modern dance, contemporary. So I was doing ballet outside of school and I was doing contemporary in school. Ballet, it kind of changed depending on whether we were in competition season or not. The maximum we went was 4 times a week, and each time it would be about maybe 1.5 to 2 hours. And contemporary dance, we had about 3 times a week, and it would be about 3.5 to 4 hours each time. Plus, we would do extra practices outside, so my body was going through a lot. So when I was in secondary 2, I had to learn a certain move for choreography. Basically, my right knee was kneeling on the floor and my left leg was out. And I had to bring my left leg in and kneel down on both. Basically, this motion was too fast for my body and my knee kept hitting the floor. And it felt as if it was like dislocating with every time it hit the floor. And I told the instructor, I was like, something's wrong, we need to change this. And he said, no, your legs are very long, I know you can do this move quickly. Bro, my legs are long, that's why I need time. I need more time to do the move. For the record, I'm not like tall internationally. I'm tall for an Asian. I'm like 167 centimeters. So yeah, basically he said no and I had to continue doing the move. And sure enough, I came home. My knee felt really wobbly, told my parents. My dad was really concerned as he's gone through some knee surgery in the past, and he brought me to an orthopedist. So we got a scan done. It seemed that I had sprained my patella, aka the kneecap. There was some inflammation, there was some cartilage damage, but everything was like kind of minor. But it was major enough that, you know, I had to rest a couple of weeks. It was a sprain in 3 different areas. What he also noticed was that my cartilage was very thin. And he was like, yeah, you just gotta be careful. But we didn't know how important that is. And it seems like the orthopedist also did not know. So yeah, I just continue going through life. My knees heals up. It never really was the same after that. Obviously, it's not back to 100% because injuries don't work like that. They just go up to maybe back to 80% of what you used to be. But yeah, we go on. I continue living my life. Once in a while, like, you know, my knee will feel a little bit wobbly, but I'll go to physio, they'll give me some new exercises, it'll strengthen up, do some ultrasound, yada yada. Basically, it's manageable. In secondary 4, 2 years later, I am walking and my knee suddenly fucking pops out of its socket or whatever the hell. I had to get 4 guys to carry me on a chair because when I would put weight on my leg, it would feel like my kneecap would just go the wrong way. It was like, so I go back home. I believe it happened because my quadricep was really, really tight. So I just had to like massage it out, and yeah, slowly the knee like just kind of relaxed and felt better. Then I graduated secondary school and went to junior college. For those of you who don't know, junior college is years 11 and 12. It's just 2 years. That's where you go to do your A-levels. In junior college, I decided to try something new. I decided I wanted to try touch rugby, and I did. So I got to play the first year. It was really good. But lo and behold, towards the end of J1, I was playing softball during PE. And I'm running towards home base. Another girl is running towards me. She kind of dives, and my knee and her elbow kind of just went. And oh my god, the entire thing just swelled up. Everyone thought I was being dramatic and overreacting. And even I was just like, how is this so painful? We just went. So another mystery of life, I was like, maybe it hit me way harder than expected, and back I went to the orthopedist. Same goddamn thing. Impact, sprain, inflammation. Had to rest for a while. I was on a wheelchair this time because obviously it had been a couple of years of my knee just popping in and out whenever the hell, and yeah. Something was different about the healing process this time around. I would go on the wheelchair, go back on the crutches, back to the wheelchair, back on the crutches, back to the wheelchair. It was a nightmare. I didn't fucking understand what was going on, and everybody around me thought I was faking it. That's the worst part, that you are in physical pain and you're weak and you can't provide for yourself, and on top of that, everybody around you is just shitting on you and saying that you're pretending. Why would I pretend? Why would I want to be this weak ass? It just boggles my mind that people thought I was so hungry for attention. Like, obviously everybody wants to be as independent as possible and provide for themselves. I don't want somebody to be constantly carrying my backpack and helping me up the stairs. Like, dude, why would I pretend? So this time around, when I'm going to my physiotherapist, she notices that the healing is taking super long and it's kind of back and forth. And she observes my history, she observes the way I move and walk and do all these things. And she's like, you are hypermobile. And I ask, what does that mean? And she says, well, basically your joints, ligaments, they're all really loose, and that's why you get injured so easily, and it takes super long for you to heal. I was like, okay, like, thank God now I have an explanation and we can work around it. It was not that simple. Hi everyone, so editing version of Navya here. My explanation got a bit convoluted in this part of the video, so I thought I would just jump in and redo it. So actually, my physiotherapist was telling me that I was hypermobile, but what she failed to tell me was that I had hypermobility syndrome. And honestly, a part of me does not blame her because this was back in 2015. And
Hypermobility syndrome, otherwise known as HSD, is still a very new thing even now in 2020. There are still clinical studies being done on it. They're still trying to figure out what causes it, how we can help it. It's a new disease, basically. It's always been around, it's just that only now is mankind really discovering it and figuring it out. So if it's like this in 2020, you can imagine how it was back in 2015. Back then, nobody knew how severe it could get or how it could impair your body and your life. But as time went on, more research came out and we had more knowledge. We realized that I had hypermobility syndrome, and it was not just a condition, it was a disability. So yeah, I will let past me continue this.
It's unfortunate that I didn't know the gravity of it and didn't find out what exactly it was any sooner, and that I didn't have anyone to teach me, because I think it would have prevented so many things. My knee heals up. I'm in touch rugby. During warm-ups, I sprained my ankle. That luckily healed up in 3 days. Oh my god. For the rest of J2, I am not allowed to do any physical activity, no PE, no touch rugby, no training, no tournament, nothing. So J2 ends, I'm all cleared, my medical certificate is done, I can start doing physical activity again, and literally in like 2 to 3 weeks, I had turf toe. So turf toe is when you basically sprain the ligaments in your big toe. And that took maybe 2 months to heal. And basically when I was not moving my foot for those 2 months, my entire calf tightened up. Well, my entire calf tightened up and it pulled on my Achilles, and boom, I got Achilles tendonitis. It never fucking ends. At this point, I'm at my wit's fucking end. I have been in and out of the orthopedist's clinic for, 6 years now? At this point, I am desperate. I feel like all the things that I have tried so far are not working. I just keep getting injury after injury, so I decide to try something new. I decide to try a TCM clinic. TCM stands for Traditional Chinese Medicine, and many people go to TCM clinics in Singapore, well, because they are Chinese, and it seems to work for them. So I go there about 5 times. They did like a deep tissue massage on my Achilles tendon, but they went way too hard. My entire ankle was purple. Even now, like years after it has healed, there is so much scar tissue and bruising that happened that Achilles tendon is just permanently a little bit fatter. So the TCM fucks it up pretty bad. I go back to my normal physiotherapist. They fuck it up further. They kept pushing me to do exercises I was not ready for. Basically, in physiotherapy, one of the biggest things you have to know is that never do an exercise if it is causing you pain. My physiotherapist just kept making me do stuff anyway despite the pain. She just claimed that your muscles are tight, the pain is normal, you have to keep going. And I stayed there for about 3 months. They even did shockwave therapy on me. For those of you who don't know what shockwave therapy is, it's basically kind of like, imagine those drills they use on roads to drill the concrete and cement. That's exactly what it feels like, but on your nerves. It's not fun. I went back to the orthopedist, who I have also changed now because he turned out to be a sexist pig. Shout out to old brown men who think that they can impose the patriarchy on young brown girls. Anyway, but basically he realized, oh my god, what the hell have people been doing? I'm transferring you to a sports physio. From there, I was transferred to this angel of a man named Dennis Mecklenburg. Shout out to Physioactive SG, I love you guys. Within 2 months, he got me walking again. To give you an idea of how bad the TCM and the shockwave therapy physiotherapist was, I was out of action for 7 months. I could not walk for basically 3/4 of 1 year. Do you know how devastating that is to a dancer? So anyway, everything's fine, sort of, and I make my way to Melbourne. In Melbourne, everything's pretty good. Nothing major until my Achilles starts acting up. So I go to the physiotherapist on campus because woohoo, student subsidized healthcare. And they tell me, you gotta do more calf raises because it seems to have weakened up a little bit. So I started doing calf raises every single day, and I sprained like 7 of my toes. It was here that I was just like, fuck. There is something serious. I dived way deeper into hypermobility syndrome. I looked up dance doctors, dance physios, and everything, and I found out what I have is a motherfucking disability. In my entire lifetime, when I was a child, hypermobility syndrome was pretty much not a thing yet. Well, it existed, but nobody knew about it. And then when I was in my teens, it started gaining some traction. And now that I am an adult, it seems to have finally become a disability. It's still not well known. It is so painful to live with. Like I said earlier, I would go a year without getting to do physical activity. I would go 7 months without getting to walk. And it's so painful for someone who considered being a full-time dancer. Someone who did ballet 4 times a week and contemporary dance 3 times a week. Someone who went to school for dance and not for the textbooks or whatever. Someone who wants dance to be their career. It has been so difficult living with this disability, and it's taken me so much time to recognize that, hey, disabled people can be dancers too. And it's so tough because I feel so much imposter syndrome. I used to be this person who could do 3 pirouettes, 1.5 lame ducks, however you pronounce it. I taught people how to do a grand jeté and a battement tendu, how to spell that stuff, and to go from someone who was once the captain of the dance team to being someone who can barely stand up on their toes is incredibly painful. And I hope I'll get to a place where I don't feel imposter syndrome. My sister tells me that she still sees me as a full-fledged active dancer because I make dance content, I still post tutorials, I still try to do photo shoots and whatnot, so I don't know. It's tough because she believes the image that I'm doing my best to put out, but how many of us disabled dancers actually believe in the image too? How many of us actually feel imposter syndrome? So yeah, that was a bit of truth for you and what it's like to be a disabled dancer. It feels so weird to say that. But yeah, I thought this would just be something good to share. So anyway, if you thought that this was really unique and helped you learn something, please subscribe. This knowledge needs to be spread all over the world so that more people are understood and not blamed for being fake. I will continue making videos like this as well as other entertaining ones, and I will see you next time. Bye!